Now I'll preview the Italian referendum, also known as Renzirendum. You can follow this hashtag Renzi. This is Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi. He is young. He's about 41 years old. He came into power as a reformer from the left, managing to unite a few parties in parliament, make some reforms, but not others. Now he wants to do an even bigger reform, okay? And he put his political career on the line on this referendum. He wants to change the constitution, take some powers away from some institutions, give them to others, make the country a bit more governable. This is seen by many as the next big domino. After Brexit, after Trump, as Matteo Renzi is seen as mainstream, if he fails due to populist anger and resigns, Italy, the Eurozone's third largest country, will also be in trouble ahead of elections in France with Marine Le Pen and other events. I think the event is a bit overhyped, but this doesn't mean it cannot move markets. Okay, so let's do a bit of background here. So the Italian referendum about constitutional change was declared after he failed to reach the 2/3 majority to make the constitutional changes. He does have a majority in parliament. His government is relatively stable, okay, but the constitutional changes are about making it easier to govern, okay, about cutting red tape. Italy is a very bureaucratic country. More or less, Italy had one government per year since it went back to democracy after World War II. So Italy is sort of famous or infamous for unstable governments. But this specific government, led by Renzi, is remarkably stable. I've heard and read articles about this referendum. There are critics and there are supporters, some good and some bad components, changing the powers of municipalities, things that shouldn't interest us too much, but basically making the country more governable. I don't really have an opinion about if it's a good change or a bad change. Matteo Renzi's Partito Democratico, his central-left party, mostly supports it, but former Prime Minister, the infamous Silvio Berlusconi, is against it. The left, five-star movement, radical left, is against it as well. So there's lots of opposition. Renzi, as being young and coming relatively from the outside, and he's trying to put himself as anti-establishment as well, because that's what works today, being anti-establishment. And he's staked his political future on the vote. That means he said he will resign, but resigning doesn't mean he's out, and resigning does not mean immediate elections. Another government can be formed within the existing parliament, okay? So if you see it, I mean, a no vote is the end and the big mess for Italy. I don't see it that way. Current opinion polls indeed show no in the lead, okay? They show that Italians will reject the reforms led by Renzi, but polls have been wrong. Usually they've been wrong against they went in favor of the anti-establishment movement. We're not sure who's the anti-establishment here. Anyway, no vote will result in, of course, uncertainty. What will be the next government? Which powers will the next government have to enact reforms? And will cast doubt on the next elections in Europe, most importantly, elections in France, but also in the Netherlands earlier in the year and Germany later on. But again, it'll probably be some kind of a technocratic government. And again, Renzi is not necessarily the establishment. The five-star movement, led here by Beppe Grillo, the person on the left, former comedian, is lurking in the background, but it is not, doesn't have a majority. Just ready to take over. And also Silvio Berlusconi, which is of course a prominent figure in Italian politics. He's already 80 years old and he has some business issues. So I don't see extreme changes coming very soon. So what does it mean for euro dollar after all this political talk in the third largest economy? Failure is mostly priced in, okay, because of the opinion polls, which have been quite consistent and showing a no vote. A further fall depends on the political reaction. Renzi might not necessarily quit. He might say, okay, I got 48% of the vote. That's good enough. The people like me. I'll continue. Remember that David Cameron pledged not to stay in power even if Brexit goes through, and a few hours later he quit, and he even quit Parliament afterwards. Anyway, so politicians don't always fulfill their promises. The key for Eurodollar is a stable government that is pro-European, and I think we will get that in any case, either by Renzi or one of his fellow politicians in his party or someone else. And what happens if yes wins? L'Italia che dice sì, and hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. That will mean a rally for the euro. That'll be an unexpected and positive result. Think about like Brexit. If we had no vote leading in the polls, and then it would end in it would end in Remain. Anyway, euro is likely to rally. There will be talk about an end to populism, as Italy holding up the wall after Brexit, after Trump, and giving hope also for a more mainstream result in France, Germany, and other countries. So I don't think it'll happen. I don't think the polls are that wrong. I think it's around 10% lead for no, but you never know with opinion polls. You never know what people vote for. Again, I think a no vote is mostly priced in. So if yes wins, there is much more upside risk in for the euro, because that is the real surprise, not a rejection. Okay, it's not like the U.S. elections or Brexit when we had the mainstream ideas candidates in the lead. This time it's the other way around. Okay, so that's a preview for the Italian referendum.